Hi everyone, and welcome to TCE. Today, I want to talk about what I consider to be the serious and urgent situation regarding the role of Cyprus in this whole escalating conflict in the Middle East. Now, this small little island right at the crossroads of continents and its strategic location means it's now caught in a massive power struggle. So today in this video, I want to break down why this matters and how and why Cyprus even became involved. First, let's set the scene with some background. The conflict between Israel and Palestine, especially involving Gaza, has always been tense. But over the last year, since October the 7th, it's got massively worse. Relentless bombing campaigns in Gaza have led to over 40,000 deaths, including 15,000 children. And most of these victims are innocent civilians. And let's not forget the countless journalists, the volunteers, doctors, nurses, relief workers and UN officials also killed. In fact, the UN hasn't had this many officials killed in any conflict ever, anywhere. Despite this, despite the International Criminal Court indicting Israeli leaders for war crimes, Israel continues its actions, arguing it is exercising its right to defend itself. This conflict escalated for Cyprus on June the 19th when Hassan Nasrallah, the then leader of Hezbollah, warned that Cyprus would be a target if it allowed Israel to use its air bases during any conflict involving Hezbollah. Now, this warning came because Cyprus has been used for military drills with Israel in the past by the Greek Cypriots. The Greek Cypriot leadership allowing the island's British sovereign base areas to be used again for direct attacks means that now there's a real risk of Cyprus being drawn into this whole escalating conflict. Now, fast forward to September, and tensions were on the rise. On September the 25th, the UK Ministry of Defence moved 700 troops to Cyprus. Now, this operation was intended to help evacuate British nationals from Lebanon. That's only 165 miles away, and all of this amid ongoing hostilities. Now, there are already 500 military personnel stationed in Cyprus, as well as Royal Air Force planes, and I believe there's 2 British warships ready to assist in an evacuation if necessary. On September the 27th, Hassan Nasrallah was assassinated by Israeli forces. Now, this led to more intense conflict, as you can imagine. On October the 1st, just a few days ago, Israel launched this whole ground invasion into Lebanon to target Hezbollah. Now, in retaliation, Iran launched missile strikes against Israel. That same day, I think there was like 200 missiles responding to what they called limited localized invasion, which was actually seen by a lot of people in Cyprus. They could see the missiles flying around. Now, this has left the entire region extremely tense, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing that Iran will pay for the strike. Now, how does Cyprus fit into all of this? It comes down to the British sovereign base areas on the island, specifically the bases at Akrotiri and Pikalia. Now, these bases, although legally under British sovereignty, are geographically and politically connected to Cyprus. So the Greek Cypriot leadership allowed foreign powers like the UK and the US to use these bases for military operations. Now, this is all supporting Israeli interests. So this is basically how Cyprus found itself caught up in a conflict way bigger than itself. President Ersin Tatar of the TRNC did not remain silent, which is really good. Now, he condemned these actions by the Greek Cypriot side. He stated, and I quote, "The Greek Cypriot side's decision to allow the British sovereign base areas to be used for military operations supporting Israel risks turning southern Cyprus into a legitimate target. This involvement endangers the neutrality of Cyprus and puts all Cyprus at risk. We are concerned that these actions, aligned with Western interests, could bring conflict to our doorstep." Look, we need to get this into perspective. We're all for supporting humanitarian aid, but permitting military strikes, look, that's a whole new dangerous dynamic. This warning from Nasrallah back in June, in my opinion, underlines the real threat here. this is not a far-off possibility. Cyprus has possibly become a legitimate target in the eyes of Hezbollah and other groups who are clearly aligned against Israel. Many Turkish Cypriots are deeply concerned about what this means for us. What if a missile meant for another target ends up striking the north part of Cyprus? Now, would it be seen as an accident, or would it be seen as a direct attack? Now, if that happens, the situation could rapidly escalate. Look, we've got over 40,000 Turkish troops stationed in the north, and they're here to keep us Turkish Cypriots safe. However, any attack could provoke a military response, which could easily lead to a renewed conflict on the island. Turkey has condemned Israel's actions and viewed its incursions into Lebanon as a direct threat, now not only to the stability of the region, but also to Turkey itself. Now, with these developments, Turkey has obviously been put on alert. Ankara views the use of Cyprus as a launchpad for operations in support of Israel as a serious threat. Now, this isn't just about the safety of Turkish Cypriots, it's about the stability of the entire region. While the Greek Cypriot administration has been focused on facilitating these military operations, the TRNC has taken a different route. Now, the TRNC has actually offered its ports and facilities to assist in humanitarian efforts. Now, this move has been welcomed clearly by many who want to see an end to the violence and understand that the importance of helping civilians in such times of crisis is an absolute bonus. Now, there's another point we need to address here, the double standards that is glaringly evident. Despite being indicted by the ICC for war crimes, Israeli leaders continue with impunity. They are given the supposed right to defend themselves while planning attacks on Lebanon and potentially even Iran. Yet, when these nations retaliate, as they possibly will, it's probably going to be seen as an attack. So this double standard puts us in Cyprus in a massively vulnerable position. So we need to ask, why should our island be used for these actions? Why should the people of Cyprus, both Greek and Turkish, be put in harm's way because of decisions made in Tel Aviv, London, or Washington? If we're not careful, this could pull Cyprus and even Turkey into a broader, much more dangerous conflict. Now, our island should be a place of peace. As Cyprus has already seen more than enough conflict in the past, and we simply can't afford to be dragged into another war, especially one that has got nothing to do with us. So we call on the Greek Cypriot leadership to reconsider its choices using Cyprus as a launchpad for these attacks. Aligning with Western military interests at this time doesn't just compromise Cyprus's neutrality. Look, it puts everyone on the island at risk. Everyone. To our neighbours in the south, the Greek Cypriots, we ask you, let's not make Cyprus a target. Let's work to ensure the island remains a place of safety for everyone, not a launchpad for more violence. We are at a pivotal moment in our history. Cyprus can either stand as a beacon of peace and neutrality, or it can be used as a pawn in a much larger and more dangerous game. We call on all the international stakeholders to respect our right to neutrality and to push for de-escalation, not just for Cyprus, but the entire region. Let's not let the decisions of a few powerful nations determine our fate. Let's choose peace. Let's choose peace, dialogue, and cooperation for our island and for the future of our children.